What's going on, family?
What's happening, everybody?
Hey, listen, this is episode 6.
Yes.
This is Ministry Talks, episode 6.
Wow, 6 episodes. Can you imagine when we get to like 10 and 50 and 100?
I think it's going to get better.
I think it's going to get
Conversations are going to get better.
Absolutely.
I'm loving what we're doing and where we're at. Hey, if this is your first time joining us, I just want to say welcome. We want to say welcome.
Absolutely.
My name is Pastor Isaiah.
My name is Pastor Wes.
Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. If you got questions for us or if you have feedback, we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
You can go to mintalkspodcast at gmail.com. And it's starting to become a little bit of a catchphrase, at least for me.
Yeah.
But we don't know everything, but we will walk with you through anything.
Absolutely.
And so I believe that, Jesus walked with people and we want to walk with people.
Absolutely. That's
On
right.
episode 6, I'm excited about this one. We are going to talk about no is a kind response.
Yes.
I just had to do it. Might be corny to you, but it's fun to me. Usually when I'm in my office and Zoe's running around here, this is like her favorite thing.
Absolutely.
My daughters may say I'm probably Sergeant Killjoy. I might say no too much. But Pastor West, why don't you talk to us, man? In this topic, no is a kind response. 25 years of marriage, 25 years being in ministry. I think you said 13 years
as a senior
pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a twofold question. Was it hard for you to hear no in the beginning as a youth pastor? And then do you find it being hard or easy to say no as a senior pastor to your staff?
Oh, those are very good questions. As a youth pastor and children's pastor, yes, it was very difficult to hear no. And here's why. I am an idea guy. I can generate ideas like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And I would go to my senior pastors with these ideas and they would be like, no, that sounds dumb, or no, that's going to cost a lot of money, or no, whatever. And I'd get upset, right? I'm like, well, you're not doing the work and I'm just asking for a little money or whatever. And
Expand
it's not,
the budget.
like, you ain't got to do this. So, why is it? But no is actually a kind answer. It's a kind response.
How?
Because what I didn't know then that I know a lot more of now is my senior pastors very often saw my shortcomings. And they knew that if I were to try and take on that responsibility or that task that thing, that I wouldn't be successful at it.
You're talking about it.
Or if I was going to be successful at it, that I was going to be successful at a cost that I wasn't ready to pay.
At a cost. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
At a cost
for example.
Wow.
I remember the very first time I walked up to my father-in-law. He was my pastor for a season.
Yeah. Good guy.
Walked up to my father-in-law and I said, hey, I want to build a whale for my teaching on Jonah and the whale. Exactly. That's kind of the response I got.
Oh, wait, are you serious? No.
But then what I did was I said, okay, well, look, it's going to look like this and it's going to be like that. Now he's always been very supportive of my ideas. So I had to bring it to him a little bit differently, but I came through and I was like, yeah, I want to build this whale and it's going to be like this. And I got to take over all of this space and it's going to cost this much money and I'm going to need this many people. And we were just a smaller church in South Texas.
Okay.
And so the kind response was no. But what he gave me after that was not yet.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean that all no's are definitive stop signs, right? They're maybe just a little detour. Maybe it's just a pause. That's another reason why no is a kind response. Maybe no isn't a definitive no, you're crazy. Maybe it's a no, not now, not in this season, or
yes.
Bring me more. Bring me more. I understand what you're saying, but bring me more so that I can be supportive of you and or help push you into success, something like that. So no is a very kind response. So as a children's pastor, as a youth pastor, even as a worship pastor, now as a worship pastor, I was mostly just spending money. And so the answer was no, because, I wanted a better microphone or I needed this or I needed that. And I was just, kind of a gadget guy. And
what's the most expensive ministry?
The most expensive ministry?
I mean, this is just a quick.
Are you talking about return on investment or just the most
I
expensive?
think the most.
ministry?
I mean, this is the most expensive. I mean,
Worship ministry is the most
Okay.
expensive ministry.
just a random scroll. I just wanted to hit that really quick, just out of nowhere.
Hands down, ministry or worship and media are, because those things always are constantly changing, and you can always upgrade them. You can there's always something better that comes out. So that's just my opinion.
Okay, cool. No, thanks.
Anyway,
I just needed that.
So
I just need to know that. I don't know why. It just hit me. How, Pastor Wes, do you differentiate the no with your family and the no in ministry? How do you protect? Because when people are probably pulling at you and asking you or asking of you to be a part of this and to do this,
right.
How do you differentiate your no? Like, how do you know it's the right time to say no?
Very good question. The longer answer of that is it takes time to learn to say no, especially if you are someone like me. Now, I'm not the D type driven, everything's got to be my way kind of guy. I am the outgoing, I love everybody, borderline people pleaser kind of person. So yes was my favorite answer. I also love improv comedy. Improv comedy tells you to say yes and to like move on. So to grab the concept and move on. So that's kind of really a lot of who I am.
Right.
So it was really hard when I became a senior pastor to learn to say no in a very kind way. And also to learn that no is a kind answer. It differentiating between ministry and family stuff. We have something, I think I've told you this before. My wife and I have an emergency clause for ministry.
Yeah.
If I get a phone call or a text and somebody says, "Hey, Pastor Wes, it's an emergency. I need you." Mm-hmm. My wife is the only one who can say whether that is a real emergency for us or not.
Yes, I love that.
So
that's what's up.
Well, what if so-and-so's in the hospital? Then my wife will be like, yes, we have to go see them. But what is not an emergency is my husband and I just got into a fight. You need to come see us.
That's not an emergency.
I'm going to be like, okay, have a snack, take a nap. I'm going to get to you tomorrow.
Have a snack, take a nap. That's from a dad. Right.
Well, that's also from Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Or from God.
Yeah.
Elijah was cranky and God fed him with the ravens and put him to sleep for a little bit, let him take a nap. And then he was okay. Then like when he woke up,
fresh start,
right? And so sometimes it's just like, hey, take a time out, right? Like you just need to set those expectations up front, which we talked about in our last episode.
We did. Can you just share really quick? Because the people missed it, and we didn't get into it. And but you said that your wife she set an expectation.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's great. I think it was that was her way of saying a kind no.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when we first became senior pastors, it was really funny because she basically said, "Look, this is who I am as a person. I'm not the typical pastor's wife. You can come to me with things, but don't expect me to sit on the front row." Don't expect me to lead children's ministry. That's not my calling. That's not who I am. Yeah. She says, I'm a behind the scenes person. I'm here to be supportive. Now, if God tells me to do something, I'm going to get up there and do it. Right. I'm going to step out and do it. Yeah. But don't expect me to be somebody that like your former pastor's wife was, or so-and-so that which was a very kind way of her saying no up front. I'm not going to be this kind of person. And if you work within the expectations of what I have for you and what you have for me, knowing that these are the parameters, then when she says no to something, it's very kind because
the expectation has already been set.
Exactly.
And I think, Heather is the same way.
Right.
Heather is wired. She loves events. She loves planning parties. She loves being in the background. She is she observes a lot. So she's watching, hey, this can get better if we do this. Mm-hmm. This can get better if we approach it like that. Right. And I love that because she's going to see the things that I'm not seeing. Yeah. I'm with you. I am a vision guy. I am driven by, hey, I got an idea. Let's see if this works. Yep. And I have a great team around me that says, okay, Isaiah, that's a great idea. How much is it going to cost?
Right. And that's where I learned the whole no thing from, was because I'm an idea guy. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if it works. Does not work for people who are dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure there's money in the bank.
Right.
That doesn't work for them.
Right.
And so when I do get a no, to me, it's now that I'm a bit older, I'm a little bit wiser. I'm not the wise, but I understand the difference between a definitive no, and I'm mature enough to go, oh, that's like, this part is done.
Yes.
And well, maybe I just need to look at it from another angle. Maybe I need to think about it differently. Maybe I need to build the team before I can walk into the whole thing.
And
so
let me interject, because before we transitioned from LCC to River of Life, I went to an event with youth and young adult pastors, local thing, and I sat in this breakout session with the senior pastor.
Nice.
And I think I've told you this: push, but don't be a punk.
Right.
And I heard that, and I was getting ready to transition from, a smaller scale church into now where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And his whole perspective, his whole push the entire time was to youth pastors. It's okay to push, but don't be a punk.
Yep.
It's okay to push an idea. It's okay to say, hey, I want to suggest something, but don't be a punk about it.
Right.
And I am finding the rhythms, and you know what I'm saying, because you've been in my seat as a youth pastor, children's pastor, worship, now being the senior pastor. There is a certain rhythm, or the limit.
Yes.
To when the conversation is now I'm doing too much.
Right.
Now I'm starting to overstep my boundary.
Right.
And I pushed. I can honestly say, since I've been back in this space, I've pushed, but I haven't been a punk.
That's good.
Not always easy, because I'm like, oh man, you know what? But a lot of things I just keep to myself.
Yeah.
This is a cliche, but I think we need to normalize it. Praying.
Oh yeah.
Like when my team brings up an idea, hey, Isaiah, we'd love to do X, Y, and Z. Let me think about it. Let me pray about it. Let me take some time to step away from that. And I run everything. I'm pretty sure you do the same thing. I don't know if you do or not. I run everything by my wife.
I run a lot of things by my wife, but I have definitely, because she's an I daughter and a T crosser, I try and fill in all those blanks before I get all of the questions.
Okay, there you go. But
so that's an expectation that we've developed over the last 25 years. Right. I don't just run up and go, hey, babe, I think we should do this.
Yeah.
She's going to go, how, why, when,
right.
with who? Like,
right.
She's going to ask all of the questions. And so if I walk up with these I's dotted and T's crossed.
And just for some clarity, I've been married for 5 years, but I've known Heather for almost 9.
Right.
Almost 10. Mm-hmm. So I know what to expect when I have a conversation with her. And I'm not even saying that the ideas that my team brings to me are bad, because they're great.
Right.
I'm just saying, let me take some time to think about this, process it, and figure out, I think this is going to work. When does it work? How does it work? You know what I mean? You could even go back to the whole school method: who, what, when, where, why, and how. You know what I mean? So when let's go into the parenting world. I used to say yes a lot too. Oh, okay, I'm going to go speak over here. Or, hey, I'm going to go, help over there with that.
Right.
Now when people ask me to do something, I run it by 2 people. Obviously, I pray. The first person I run by is my wife. Hey, does this work for our schedule?
Yes.
Is there a conflict? If there's a conflict, it's a no.
Right. Which I've actually experienced. I've asked you to speak a couple times and it conflicted. But that no in our relationship
was understood.
It's kind. It's understood. Like, it's accepted so much easier than, why not? Don't you like me anymore?
And you've told me no too.
Absolutely.
And the no is completely understandable.
Right.
The other person I go to, and maybe we'll have to throw this in an episode here, but I honor my pastor.
Right.
So I go to my pastor. I say, hey, I've been invited to do such and such. Is this okay with you?
That's really good.
Now watch what happens. Pastor can tell me yes. Heather can tell me no.
Yep.
And it has happened. And if pastor gives me the green light, but my wife says no, it's a no.
Right.
Now my wife can say yes, and pastor can say no. And guess what I go with?
It's still a no.
It's still a no. Why? Because my pastor is seeing something I don't.
Right.
My wife is seeing something I don't.
Yeah.
Now both can say yes. Then I need to decide, is this a good yes?
Right.
I then need to go into prayer. Okay, my wife has said yes. My pastor has said yes. Lord, let me get in prayer. Let me hear, let me feel, let me seek. Let me see if this is something that's good for me. Because I also want to be selfish, which I think it's healthy to be selfish too.
That's right.
They're getting from me. Now what can Isaiah get too?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a check.
Right.
I'm not talking about food or lunch. I'm talking about benefit and value of relationships, which we've talked about in previous episodes. So if I'm saying no to you, it's not because I don't like you. It's not because I don't love you. It's not because I have any ought against you. It's just because it's not it's not good for me right now.
Right.
And I want you, and I wish we could normalize no being healthy.
Right.
Without being sensitive or in our feelings.
Yes.
You said no because you don't love me. You said no because you don't like me. That's not true.
That's not true. I said no, and if you didn't accept it, it's because you back to last episode. It's because you have unspoken expectations of what you want me to do for you and why.
And that's not fair.
And that's not fair to me or whomever I'm saying no to. And then at the same time, it's one of those things where, okay, if it's an unspoken expectation, it's time to speak up.
How do you? Okay, this is good. This is good because now we're in a season of being busy, right? So now we've got Thanksgiving getting ready to come up. We've got Christmas getting ready to come up, New Year's. This is such a pivotal season of us being productive, busy, however you want to say it.
Right.
How do you now start to prioritize your yeses and your no's, both for family and ministry?
Okay, I'm going to do ministry first because it's super easy. We have a mission statement in our church, right? To me, vision and mission are two completely different things.
Love it.
Real quickly, vision is what you want to see when the mission is being accomplished. That's how I tend to see it. So we focus on the mission, and our mission is very simple: love and serve Jesus, love and serve people. If what someone wants me to do or wants the church to do doesn't fit through or filter through loving and serving Jesus or loving and serving people, it's an immediate no.
Yeah, there it is.
That's the filter for ministry.
They have to line up.
They do. They have to line up. Well, Pastor West, that's so broad. Everything fits under loving and serving. Not really, but that's for a different podcast or a different conversation. With family, though, the filter again is my wife and the calendar. Right. If it doesn't, if it doesn't fit within what my family is already doing, then I have the right and the ability to say no. And one of the tools that I've been able to use over the years is let the calendar be the bad guy.
Okay. Stay on that.
Let the calendar be the bad guy means if it's on the calendar, you automatically get to say no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm otherwise, I have a meeting. I'm otherwise detained.
Yeah.
Listen to this. My Sabbath days often are in the calendar because when I look at the calendar, I go, hey, let me make sure that I'm not double booking myself because I'm going to disappoint you if I'm going to, I can do it. No, I can't.
Come on, that's so good.
And
that's
so
good.
So let the calendar be the bad guy, right?
Yes.
Like put it on the calendar. One of the things, and I did this, and I noticed you do that when you have an idea and you want to run with it on that part, you stick your thumb up for me. It's actually, I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but you do. I think it's so cool. Sorry, you guys are getting like, this is the real thing right here. This is episode 6, and you've done this multiple times. When you have an idea and you don't want to lose it, you'll hold up your thumb, dude. That was great.
I have not paid attention to that.
That's great. Crazy. I was like, oh, he's got something to say, so I let him go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to get to this. Okay, so no being a kind answer. I also grew up with this understanding in mind. I don't know if you did or not, and maybe I was just trained differently. If you can't take a no or 2 or 5, then why would I ever give you a yes?
Okay. Yes, I have. I've heard it in the form of take the no as you would a yes.
Exactly. Right.
Take the no, like be okay with this no as you would a yes.
And because there is a reason for a no. Going back to growing up years, my mom knew things that I didn't. My dad knew things that I didn't. I wanted to do things. And so that's also why a lot of young kids don't ask their parents because they're afraid of the no. But in reality, the no is also wrapped in safety.
Right.
The no is wrapped in knowledge and wisdom that maybe you don't have yet.
Right.
And or I need you to grow in this area. So no, not yet. Again, it's not a definitive no, you're crazy, get out of here, don't ever talk about it again. It really is no, not yet, or no, I'm trying to protect you, or no. So no is a very kind answer for us to be able to say, both in ministry, but also with our family, and with each other. I mean, how many times have we had those types of conversations?
Oh my goodness. Can I get preachy for 2 minutes?
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe a minute. The Bible says that a gentle word turns away wrath. That's what the word says.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? A gentle no.
Right.
The posture of how I say no.
Mm-hmm.
When the girls are asking Heather for something, and I believe this is pivotal. I'm not writing no book for parenting. I called this man right before I got married, and I got to throw this out there, right before I had got married, or I think I had just gotten married,
something like that.
And I'm telling you, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? He was asking me what's going on, how's life been? I'm like, man, these girls. He said, Isaiah. You remember this?
I remember this.
What did you say?
I said, they're just little girls.
They're just little girls. And I remember looking at you and I'm like, you're right.
The deer in the headlights moment was great,
Because
but there was this reality that you embraced.
They're little humans and they're trying to work through their emotions.
Right.
So what I've watched Heather do, because Savannah just turned 18, you'll hear me reference, and I'm pretty sure you'll hear Pastor family. We're family men.
Right.
I am a husband before I am a pastor.
Absolutely.
Heather will tell the girls, and talk to them because they're becoming young women.
Mm-hmm.
And as she's doing that, I love it because her voice is changing. See, I think about the posture of my voice.
Right.
Before me and Heather got together, I was mom's friend. Then it became mom's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
The voice had to change from friend to then boyfriend. No disciplinary, but yet still observing.
Right.
Then it changed to fiance.
Mm-hmm.
Then it changed to husband. Now it became, guess what? I am now the father in this house.
Mm-hmm.
And now guess what, Heather? You could be the mother. You can now nurture, because I am going to say no. And believe it or not, kids, people, and I've learned this, people love structure.
Absolutely, they love structure.
I don't care what anybody tells you. Oh, I like to be a free bird.
I think that's actually going to be our opening of season 2. The title of it is "You Suck at Freedom."
Okay, season 2.
Season 2, you suck at freedom.
Because if you can have boundaries, create non-negotiables. I think another kind. But what I'm saying, let me go back because I don't want to. A kind word that turns away wrath. That's a gentle no.
Right.
That's a way of just saying, hey, listen, the postures, hey, I know you want to do this and I know you want to hang out with your friends right now, but no. Well, how come? Well, you didn't do the dishes like I told you to.
Exactly.
You didn't do what I asked you to do.
You didn't meet the expectations that we agreed on.
So I think in closing, no is a kind word. And I know this is funny. That's funny. That's funny. But the harsh reality is Jesus said no quite a bit.
He did.
Jesus has probably told you, hey, now's not a season for this. And can I encourage you, just because you hear a no now?
We'll cover that in the bonus for this.
Okay. Here's the encouragement. Just because you hear a no now doesn't mean that God is saying no overall.
Exactly.
Because God is seeing your character be developed. God is seeing something that maybe you don't see.
Well, and what's that country song? And I hate to end on this, but sometimes God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. That's just a gentle no.
Yeah. So
that's a gentle no.
in closing, make sure you make sure you subscribe. Pastor Wes, what is episode 7 going to be about?
So episode 7 is going to be one of my favorites, and it's probably just going to trip some people out. Professional pastors, a little bit lazy and a little bit dumb. That's all I'm going to leave you with. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be good stuff.
Yes.